Welcome everyone to my channel called Harbi Kafir, brought to you by the Dar El Harb Center for Islamic Studies and me, your host, Harbi Kafir. So however you found this channel, it is my most fervent hope you'll return to learn more about the ideology that attempts to pass itself off as the religion of peace, Islam, and how it affects us folks known in Islam as Kafirs. This time around, I've been inspired to talk about food. In particular, pork. More specifically, bacon. A friend at a place where I capture a totally different type of video, well, this friend returned from a family reunion recently where he acquired this beautiful hunk of home-cured pork we all know and love as bacon. He asked me if I had any dietary restrictions, to which I responded with an august negation. So he gifted me this wonderful, wonderful piece of aromatic lusciousness. Look at that, people. That is really, really good. And you know I've already had at it quite a bit because it's not as big as it used to be. But, of course, as most of you people are aware, that folks that submit to the will of the God Allah are prohibited from enjoying the sweet meat of the swine. That just leaves more for my breakfast. Thank you very much. Now, why did our caravan-robbing, slave-trading, child-marrying prophet come up with this prohibition on eating little Arnold Ziffel from Hootersville? He looks so cute. To be honest, I have no idea. I do know mishandled pork can be problematic, and 1400 years ago they didn't have all the chemicals and refrigeration that we do nowadays, so
a pork chop might kill you.
Maybe Mohammed, bless his little heart, figured out pork had its problems, so he just said, our God, Allah, doesn't want believers to eat it, and it wouldn't be a big problem anymore. At least that's what he thought, but then we in the West learn ways to make a reliable source of food cleaner and safer. This episode's verse from the Quran is the first of many in that book recited by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, about dietary prohibitions on pork that was well documented in Islam's holiest compilation of those recitations. Oddly enough, this verse comes from Surah 2, known as the cow. And the verse is 173, and it goes like this. He has forbidden you only carrion and blood and the flesh of pigs, and anything that has been sacrificed to anyone other than Allah. But he who is driven by necessity, neither craving nor transgressing, it is no sin for him. Indeed, Allah is forgiving, merciful. The same admonishment is reiterated in Surah 5, verse 3, Surah 6, verse 145, and Surah 16, verse 115, just for a couple more examples. If you notice in the second part of the verse, Allah forgives those who eat pork out of necessity, like when believers are in Dar El Harb. So when believers are a minority in a land, they can just avoid pork products or even consume them to avoid starvation. But as more political power is gained, Sharia is then imposed, and no one gets to have a ham sandwich or marshmallows in their hot cocoa. Believers in Islam want all temptations to be removed, so they won't be tempted. Screw those others who have cultural dictates or freedoms that live in that same region. Who cares about them? Well, I'll tell you, I like bacon too much to ever want this to happen. If Muslim kids have things in American public schools that they are forbidden to eat, then bring a lunch. Don't push your dietary restrictions on me and my friends and their kids. This is America, and for now I have the freedom to eat whatever I desire. There are other religious communities with similar types of dietary prohibitions, but they don't require that I follow them. Islam doesn't seem to give its believers credit to have the willpower to resist. So everyone's freedom of choice, believer and kafir alike, has to be removed. I'm not saying that the Bacon Removal Act of 2023 is just around the corner, but school districts in America have already bowed to Sharia, removing pork products from lunchroom menus system-wide because a tiny group of non-assimilators might not be able to maintain willpower around religious prohibitions. Sounds like their problem to me. You know, I had to carry my lunch to school as a kid because of prohibitions in my family's culture. We were poor Southerners that couldn't always afford a fancy school lunch a lot of the times. Sometimes all I got was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but sometimes I got a ham sandwich. Or better yet, bologna. So my fellow kafirs, let's not let Islam tell us how or what we should eat. If Muslims decide to live in this country of ours, they need to accept that many of us like to eat pork. It's not up to us kafirs to make allowances because Muslims do not. The cultural assimilation needs to be on their part, not on ours. Mainly because I ain't giving up bacon. Thanks for listening while I had my say. If you have any comments, feel free to communicate them in the space below. So until then, next time when you watch another one of these videos from Dar El Harb Center for Islamic Studies, please remember, no Islam, my fellow kafirs, so there is no submission. That's good bacon.
Allah